Whew, take a breather. Watch the lights, top left. Lights are on. Lights are off, and they dump the clutches, and those big fat Avons bite the tarmac. Benetton, oh, look at that. Who's that? Simon Robinson going down the grass. What on earth possessed him to do that? Obviously somebody clipped him, but Lee Crawford in front, the pole position man, 117 from Rob Biggs. Then it's Ben and Tom Birchall in third. There is Simon Robinson, mercifully missed all the advertising hoardings, and he's back in business, but a good way down. Birchall's up to second, sweeping through on the inside of Rob Biggs. Now they obviously, they've only done the one round, they did Snetterton, so they're not championship contenders by any stretch of the imagination, but they do have a point to prove. Lee Crawford, very much the new kid on the block, and he's some kid, he's about 6'5" tall, very, of big stature, big man, big stature, big heart, rides well, and a young man as well, and that's what we need in this sidecar class. We need new young talent coming through. Martin Kirk, yellow and black, good to see him back as well. Andy Peach on there, number 95, that's Blackstock and Rosny. Blackstock and Rosny coming through from the back. There's Sam and Tom Christie. They were right at the back. The bike's been rebuilt. And who's that going on? Oh, that's Craig Curry. Craig Curry and Justin Sharp. Identical livery to Ben and Tom Birchall. Different colour helmets. Craig Curry, Justin Sharp then, who qualified third. There, Blackstock and Rosny, number 95 on the deep blue pretty bike. There behind them, number 93, George Holden. There's Ben Birchall looking around the outside. Can he get the power on? How quick is his Honda? Honda versus Yamaha down the straight, Birchall's lead. The Hayes Honda corners very, very quickly. Very low centre of gravity. The engine is inclined to get the crankshaft as low as possible. Here comes John Holden. John Holden, number 2, diving out on the short chassis, where the engine is underneath the chest of the driver. You can see the way it's sort of humpbacked, and John Holden sitting there with that engine thundering away under his chest. Lewis Blackstock, Paddy Rosny, here comes Christie. The red, white and blue of the Christies through underneath on Andy Peach. Luke Williams there, number 91, having a look at that result. Oh, how close do you want that? Nearly clipped the back of Andy Peach. Fantastic stuff, and we've got a reverse grid tomorrow. Goodness knows what's going to happen with a reverse grid. Luke Williams, another newcomer. Strong rider as well. Had him upside down, unfortunately, at Snetterton, but he's still learning his craft, having come from the world of four-wheel racing to three-wheel racing. A very different ball game. George Holden, number 93, underneath his father on the short outfit, but John's having none of that. Cheeky, how dare you? Get behind me, son. Christie's then. Sam and Tom Christie, all day they've been working. Tom departed for Beverley this morning to get some bits. Bent the chassis, twisted the chassis, wrecked the bodywork. Fortunately, they're in the business of building these bikes and putting them together and putting them right, so they know what they're doing. John Holden looking really strong, and he's got the 2012 World Sidecar passenger Ashley Hawes. Remember that name? Who rode to world success with Tim Reeves. 2012, would you believe? 10 years ago. Where have I been all that time? Unbelievable. But it endures, and these passengers they can't stay away. They just want to get back into it. You might have a bit of family time, bring the family up, but when the kids are big enough, let's get back on the bike, shall we? Let's do it again. Here they come then. The Holden family locked in battle with Sam and Tom Christie, number 34. The red, white and blue bike. There is John still holding off. But no, that's his Adolf RS chassis going past, courtesy of Ian Barnes, a metal recycling man who sponsors John Holden, owns the long bike, and it was basically parked up when George wrecked his at Snetterton. A bit of persuasive phoning, and Ian Barnes said, OK, jump on that, jump on the Adolf. And it is the Rudy Schmidt German-built chassis with a Yamaha in, and not the customary Kawasaki that we see George Holden riding. But there it is then. The Christies now have got John Holden, twice an Isle of Man TT winner, in front of them. They're going down the inside. They'll get that long bike stopped quicker than the short bike, and they do. round the bend, and now they've got the power on. So where are the Christies? Up to 6th place now. Sam and Tom Christie up to 6. Race leaders, the Birchall, with a 1.3 second gap over Lee Crawford and Jake Lowther. Blackstock and Rosney in 3rd from row 7. Not too bad at all, boys. Well done. So they're in a strong points position, eating into that 55-point lead that Todd Ellis has in his absence. Winner of race 1 today in Oschersleben in Germany, as I said. So he is now marching on towards his first world title, but there's business going on here about the British title, and we're watching Christies, who are desperate to try and wrest the championship lead from Todd Ellis, but regardless of what they do in this race, they cannot take the championship lead. He has a 55-point margin, but the most they can do is eat significantly into that 55-point margin. Rob Biggs and his new passenger, young Mr. Colebrook, doing a brilliant job. Never heard of the man, Shane Colebrook, but he is a very good F2 passenger, so I'm reliably informed, and he's done a good job for Rob Biggs to get him on the front row. George Holden, Oscar Lawrence then have fellow championship rivals behind them, the number 34, the Christie brothers. And this scrap is now going on. Is there a take 2 here? A repeat move? Yes, it is. Up the inside. But what's George Holden going to do? He doesn't want to bend that bike. It's not his. It's a lot of money's worth. It's been loaned to him for the weekend. So take good care of my baby, whatever you do. And he is. So Christie's up 1 more place. So they are now up to 5th place with Rob Biggs, number 5, on the Santander Zolt Cabelco bike ahead of them. Up to 5th, Sam and Tom Christie from the very, very back of the grid. So they are in an 11-point position at the moment. So that gap has now come down to 44, Todd Ellis's lead. Blackstock and Rosney in there as well. And they are now in 3rd place. Birchall's 2.4 seconds up the road from this pair. Lee Crawford and Jake Lowther spitting flame from the exhaust, with Blackstock and Rosney right on their case. Half race distance, 5 laps we are on now. 4 completed on lap 5 as we watch them. So Blackstock and Rosney, they were well down in qualifying simply because they hardly got any track time in. They had a rattle, they didn't know what it was. Stripped the clutch, wasn't that? Had a look at the cam chain tensioner, and it was locked off. So the cam chain and the tensioner and the slipper were all rattling around. Here we come then. Blackstock, oh goodness me! What? Lewis Blackstock, what is that about? He was gonna go up the inside. Oh mate, I'm sorry. What? Is that something happened? Did he have brake failure? I've no idea, but that is going nowhere now. That is firmly in the gravel. Let's have a look. Oh, that was something really odd happened there. The sidecar wheel kicked up. That was really, really odd. No idea what happened there. You won't get that out of there, buddy. That is deep gravel. Bit of a push for the marshals. But just when he was going to throw it in right, and that would have brought it back. If he could have done that, that would have brought the sidecar wheel down. But the sidecar wheel came up. The passenger was on the back, poised to go into the right hander. It suddenly went light, and it was totally off balance, and they were lucky to get it stopped. Well, all goes on, doesn't it? Ben and Tom Birchall, 3.6 seconds the gap now, but Lee Crawford has now got clear tarmac ahead of him and clear tarmac behind. But here come Sam and Tom Christie, now in a 16-point position. So gradually eating into that deficit. And Rob Biggs, with Shane Colebrook, I say full respect, doing a great job in there. This is one of the best rides Biggs has been able to have this year, because he's had all sorts of woes with the bike not performing, passengers coming and going, some able to do it, some not able to do it. So he's been very unsettled. Not so this pair, the Christie brothers. just imperious. They are really, really good. Remember, they have built this bike from scratch. And another one of their bikes, the only short chassis they've built, is running in 13th place in the hands of newcomer Daryl Gibson and Ashley Moore. A short chassis, and we'll get to hear more about the Christie's bikes. They've got 3 on order to be built. Further down the order, the Has-Beens boys racing once again with Craig Clark and Pete Enser, number 17. Looked like there might be some bodywork, bit of smoke coming out there on the right-hand side of that number 17 bike. There it is, smoke coming out of that. There could be something, yeah, hand in the air. There's a problem there. That might be oil smoke. That's it. 17 out. Didn't like the smoke. And so that Honda is out of it. Honda LCR. That's a shame. Yeah, there's a problem there. That's got an overheating or an oil leak problem. So the only place they are going is parking up. And indeed they do. Luke Williams, number 91. Well, he's in 7th place at the moment. No, shoving it back, but they're in a safe zone. That's the important thing. No way through, so they've got to make their way through. Oh, look at the sidecar wheel in the air from John Holden. All under control, though. Jason... Oh, not Jason Pitt. It's Ash... What am I talking about? Yeah. Ashley Hawes. Ashley Hawes back for... Since, I don't know, 5 years away? Must be 5 years away. Rode with Chris Walker. So last time Ashley was out was with Chris Walker. So that must be certainly pre-COVID. Luke Williams looking strong here with Jason Pitt. And this pair go well. Oh, there's Simon Robinson. Mick Fairhurst out of it. So 2 more out of it. Never mind, Simon. A pat on the back from Mick. There goes Luke Williams past John Holden, rocketing on his way down Craner curves. The long outfit so much more stable, of course. Let's have a look. He throws it in. This is at the S's. The wheel is at least 4 inches, to quote old money. 6 inches now and getting higher. Pops it down, but it's all under control. That might look a bit scary, but John knew what he was up to. I'm glad I wasn't in it. Right then, 5.1 seconds. Ben and Tom Birchall, their advantage on their way to 25 points. They already have a few from Snetterton. They jumped into 11th in the standings with 45 points, a win and a 2nd place, beaten at Snetterton in one race by Todd Ellis. And took victory, of course, in the other, when those 2 charioteers had a ding-dong to be proud of. Lee Crawford, Jake Lauder still holding on to a good 2nd place, entering the straight, having powered out of Goddard's on the penultimate lap. Ben and Tom Birchall on the Hayth Honda, and the sun has gone behind clouds, and it really has. I was a bit concerned that they would be heading into the sun again, just as they did at Snetterton, but the sun having gone down behind the trees, in actual fact, never mind the clouds, has cast a completely different complexion over the Donington circuit. But what a beautiful, beautiful circuit it is. Now that it's been restored to its former glory under MSVR stewardship, it really is a fantastic place to be. A lot of spectators in today, and you're watching Sam and Tom Christie make their way through. Luke Williams, number 91, Sam and Tom Christie up to 3rd, just under 9 seconds off the race leader from the back of the grid, so that is not too shabby at all. Williams now in 6th place. John Holden behind him, George Holden ahead of him, and 4th place for Rob Biggs. Something of a baptism of fire for Ashley Hawes, of course. In the number 2, here's Andy Peach. Andy Peach and Martin Kirk, number 58 in the yellow and black. Martin Kirk going through. Martin Kirk underneath with Kyle Masters, formerly a passenger with Kevin Cable. These two having a great fight. Ken Edwards in the hot seat with Andy Peach. On their final lap, the Birchalls, 1, 2 and 3. Second place you're looking at now with the yellow helmet of Lee Crawford's passenger, Jake Lowther. And race leaders, Ben and Tom, Donington Park. They must know every single racing inch of it. Originally from Mansfield, Ben has since moved up country a bit, but Mansfield's their hometown. So they're not too far away from Donington Park and will have spent many racing miles here. Craig Curry, Justin Sharp, after their early episode on the opening lap, behind number 70, Hannah Finn, Adolph RS of Rupert Archer and Phil Hyde. Well, good display and an impeccable display by these boys. Didn't take them long to get to the front, lap 2, and it was effectively game over for the others. That gap still, though, 6 seconds. The Christies are close on the back of Crawford, but no cigar. I don't think there's enough time. But riding with Ben and Tom now. Good to see them back here. I hope they come to Brands Hatch, where there are double points up for grabs. They've got a lot of work to do with the business of LCR. They now manufacture, service, supply parts for the entire LCR community. Here they come then. Checkered flag for Ben and Tom Birchall. Lee Crawford and Jake Lowther will take second, and almost on the same piece of tarmac, Sam and Tom Christie from the back of the grid. Well done, guys. Fourth it is for Rob Biggs and Shane Colebrook. Fifth for George Holden on a borrowed bike, and he took great care of it. Luke Williams and Jason Pitt, number 91, go over ahead of John Holden and Ashley Halls. Then it's Martin Kirk and Andy Peach, number 4 on the Life Safety red Yamaha. Slow down lap then for Ben and Tom. They are a class act. What we need them to do is do all the rounds in this championship, and let's find someone to challenge them. And we know who that can be, and he is away in Germany this weekend. Still the championship leader, but with a reduced margin. Good Sidecar race, confirmation of victory there by 6 seconds over Crawford, the Birchall boys. Christie brothers, so 2 sets of brothers in the top 3. Biggs, Holden, Williams, Holden Senior, Kirk, Peach. Good to see Martin Kirk back. Archer there rounding out the top 10, ahead of Curry and Sharp after their off-track excursion. And a good debut for Darryl Dixon and Darryl Gibson and Ashley Moore. Hawksville Taylor, the last outfit rolling. Well done.